You've heard the rumors, now hear the evidence. Welcome to the petty jury. Story 1. Am I the a-hole for ending a relationship over long showers? I don't think I'm the asshole, but my aunt and mom got in my head over the holidays and now I am questioning myself. Until early November I, 28F, was in a long-term relationship with Kevin, 30M. We were together for about 18 months. He was planning to move in with me at the end of November when his lease was up. I own my own place, whereas he had a roommate who was recently engaged. Seemed like good timing all round. Kevin was generally a good guy. Funny, charming, easygoing. I thought I was in love. But a few weeks before he was supposed to move in, he made a weird offhand comment about my evening shower habits. Now look, I know some people will find this crazy, but it's not as crazy as it seems. I have a glorious steam shower with a comfy bench. I take long-ass steams before bed. Usually 15 minutes to steam, 5 to 10 minutes with the water on and off to shower and wash my hair, and another 5 or so for skin care. I'm not hogging the only bathroom or the hot water. And I only do it after everything else is done for the day: work, chores, sex. Anyway, the comment was that I would have to knock off things like that when I was living with him. Why? He said I was wasting time and needed to be more present when I lived with a man. WTF. It's 30 to 40 minutes. I can't have 30 to 40 minutes to myself. This led to a longer argument about the various things about myself and life I would need to change before he would move in. Like I was doing him a favor letting him live with me rent-free. Many things themselves went terrible. Put my various skincare things away rather than leaving them on the shelf. Fair, don't leave so many shoes in the mudroom. They're on a rack, but whatever. Stop the composting service. He wants to do it. But a few were non-starters. Don't have my brother, 17, and his friends over unsupervised by him, and don't volunteer at a local shelter that houses men. It was wild. He had never shown any indication of being controlling before, so I tried to talk to him about what he was thinking. He just said that moving in meant that I was his and needed to act like it, paraphrasing. I said, then we weren't moving in together as I am not anyone's less articulate than that, and asked him to leave. We had another conversation a day or so later, but neither of us budged, so we mutually broke it off. I was sad, but not devastated. Mostly completely confused and questioning my ability to see any red flags. There had to be some, right? I thought I made the right choice. My friends think I made the right choice. My baby brother also thinks I made the right choice. He may be influenced by my 3D printer. But my mom and aunt think I made a huge mistake. It's been a solid 2 weeks of you're going to die alone. You're selfish. You have to compromise in relationships. You can't expect him to put up with your single girl schedules and habits. He was such a catch. I feel like my head is going to explode. I thought my mom would at least care that he was cutting off free brother sitting when they travel, but no, she thinks my ex was right that my brother and his friends shouldn't be in the house alone with a single woman at their age. I babysat most of them when they were younger, for Christ's sakes. Am I really unreasonable here? And driving myself nuts. We are not getting back together. But was I an asshole? Story 2. Am I the a-hole for canceling a third date over a peanut allergy? A friend of mine set me up on a date with a coworker of hers. She said we were perfect for each other. Our first date was at a coffee shop, and then we arranged to meet up at a botanical garden the next week. While we were at the botanical garden, she told me about her peanut allergy, which she described as life-threatening. I told her that must be stressful, and she said it was. We arranged for a lunch date this week at the end of a date. After that date, I started thinking. I love peanuts and eat them all the time. I put peanut butter in on a lot of stuff, including my dog's toys, which he drags all over my apartment, getting invisible peanut oil everywhere, I'm sure. I can't see a potential relationship with this woman ever progressing to a serious stage without me changing my diet and habits. At this point, we've only been on 2 dates, and I think it would be more respectful of her time to not go on a third. So I called her and told her I was sorry, but we need to cancel. She asked if I wanted to reschedule, and I apologized but said I didn't think we would work out long term. She asked why, and I was honest. I said I really like peanuts and would be nervous about potentially harming her. She said there were a lot of safety precautions we could take to keep her safe, and I admitted I know that but don't want to do them. She said wow and told me I'm immature. I apologized again, but she hung up. She told my friend what happened, and my friend is confused by my reasoning. She said her coworker said I'm a massive douche. I don't feel like I am. We only went on 2 dates. 2 dates doesn't imply any commitment. I asked her if she agrees I'm a douche. She said she's not sure, but that my logic is definitely weird. Do you guys agree? Story 3. Someone at work stole my chair. So I had them arrested. I got a new job in sales working for a company that sells access control systems, CCTV systems, etc. The chair in my cubicle was uncomfortable AF, so on day 3 I brought in my own Herman Miller Aeron chair. On day 4 it was missing. I looked around and another sales rep was sitting in it. I asked for it back but he basically told me to F off. I went and spoke to the owner of the company. He told me that the chairs aren't reserved. They are first come first serve. I explained that I OWN the chair and it cost me $1,800. He told me that I need to come in earlier if I want that chair. The next day the same guy was sitting in it when I got to the office. I told him to give it back or I was going to call the cops. He refused. So I called the cops. It was quite the scene, but in the end he admitted that he took my $1,800 chair. I was prepared. I had the receipt which showed the serial number. Yes, Aeron chairs have serial numbers. They asked me if I wanted to press charges. My new boss said I would be terminated if I had him arrested, so I said absolutely. I want to press charges. My new boss fired me on the spot, so I carried my chair with me I was leaving. And yes, the cops arrested the dude who took my chair, he admitted to it. The dude who took my chair has been in the industry for about 15 years, but he's going to lose his security license, which means he won't be able to work in the industry. He's going to lose his job. I don't give a shit. He shouldn't have stolen my chair. Am I the asshole for making this dude lose his job? Story 4. Am I the a-hole for telling a guy to shut up during a job interview? I was interviewing this guy for a very good software engineering position. He passed the first round, and both I and everyone involved in the second round really liked his resume and experience. On paper, he had everything we were looking for, and honestly, this looked like a life-changing opportunity for him. Then he shows up, very serious and not smiling at all. I'm used to that in tech interviews, and I understand it can be an intimidating environment. We did a round of introductions, and then he opened the interview by saying, "Let me tell you a little bit about myself." We said, "Okay, go for it." He started talking about his personal and professional background. After about 3 minutes, I jumped in to ask a follow-up question based on something he mentioned. He replied, "I will answer, just give me a moment," and continued talking. A coworker jumped in with another question, and he said the same thing to her. At this point, we were kind of looking at each other, but decided to let him continue and give him the benefit of the doubt. But after more than 5 minutes, I jumped in again with another question. I had to talk over him to do it. He finally paused and answered, but in such a long-winded way that he ended up veering into another topic. My coworker asked another question, and the same thing happened. At this point, I was ready to end the interview. I tried to politely wrap it up several times, but he was unable to read the room and just kept talking. I finally raised my voice slightly and said something like, "Thank you very much for sharing your background. In the interest of time, I'd like to ask if you have any questions for us." This is standard protocol and helps us prepare answers for future interviews. He asked a question about the team. As I was answering, he raised his finger and interrupted to talk more about his background. I let it go. Then he asked another question, which my coworker started to answer, but again, he spoke over her to talk about himself. I tried once more to interrupt politely, but he kept talking. At that point, I was done. I said, "John, you really have to shut up and listen." He was surprised, as was my coworker, but he finally stopped talking. I continued, "You walked into this room with a 99% chance of getting the job. Now that chance is 0. The only reason is because, in less than 15 minutes, you've demonstrated that you don't have the capacity to listen at all. So I'm telling you now, you're not getting the job. But if you take anything away from this interview, let it be this: no matter how good you are technically, if you can't listen, you'll never excel in this career." He apologized and said, "Can we start again?" I replied, "You had your chance. Best of luck in your future interviews. Make sure you listen." Looking back, I know I could have handled it differently, but I still feel bad for the guy. For more episodes, see our channel.